कुंभे पुनर्वसु जातौ केरले चोळपट्टने कौस्तुभांशं धराधीशं कुलशेखरमाश्रये घुष्यते यस्य नगरे रङ्गयात्रा दिने दिने तमहं शिरसा वन्दे राजानं कुलशेखरम्. So the 9th and the 10th verses today. करचरण सरोजे कांति मन्नेत्र मीने श्रम मुषि भुजि भुज वीच व्याकुले गाध मार्गे हरि सरसि विगाह्यापीय तेजो जलौघम भव मरु परिखिन्न क्लेश मध्य त्यजामि सरसिज नयने सशंख चक्रे मुरभिदिमा विरमस्व चित्तरन्तुम सुखतरमपरं न जातु जाने हरिचरण स्मरण अमृतेन तुल्यम. So now we are looking at, see, each of these verses we can just pick them up in isolation and also think about them, right? If you actually notice, there is not a great deal of continuity between these verses, right? In isolation you can pick up each verse and just contemplate upon it. So that is why there's really no this was said before, that was said before. In fact, you see two or three versions, some of these verses are placed in different places also. Gayatri would have also noticed it while she helped me compile this. There are multiple versions where you find some of these verses in different places, because each of the verse kind of stands independent. So it is Mukunda Mala Stotram. See, in a mala, the flowers don't necessarily carry importance because of the mala. The flowers themselves have their own independent significance, importance. When they are in a mala, it is beautiful. It becomes a garland. But in itself, each element or each entity of the mala, whether it's a Rudraksha mala or a Tulasi mala or a jasmine flower mala or a rose flower mala or a lotus flower mala, each of those entities have their own independent existence, value, significance. And in the mala combined, there is a beauty when they come together also. Right? Because as you go through, when we chant all of this together, there is a joy that we are thinking about Bhagavan. There's this devotional element that keeps repeatedly coming through all the verses, and hence keeps our mind rooted. So if after two chants, after 5 verses, suddenly the mind goes somewhere, the 6th verse again brings it back. After 10 verses, if the mind goes somewhere, the 11th verse again brings it back. So that way, each verse in itself is unique and has a significance of its own. So that is why if you see Mukunda Mala Stotram, it is a mala, a garland of verses. The only central theme, the sutra or the thread or the string that is running through the mala is what? Bhakti, devotion. Keshava, Mukunda, Narayana. This is what is running as the central theme through the mala. So in the 9th verse, he is now trying to say how and when do I look to this Mukunda or Krishna. He says, Karacharana Saroje Kanti Mannetra Mine. So he first, so maybe in the way of looking at the meaning, we can go backwards in this. He says, Karacharana Saroje Kanti Mannetra Mine Shri Ashramam Ushi Bhuja Vichivya Kule Gadhamarge Hari Sarasi Vigahya Piyatejo Jalogham Bhavamaru Parikhinna Klesha Madhye Tyajami. When I am exhausted by this Bhava Maru, in this desert of material existence. Maru is a desert. Bhava Sagara or Bhava Maru. In this case, he is making a reference to Maru or a desert. Usually, Samsara is referred to as Bhava Sagara. Usually, it is shown as this ocean that we have to cross over. So when you have to cross over the ocean, Bhava or Samsara is seen as a water body. But here he is seeing Mukunda and the devotion as an ocean, and the material existence or samsara as a desert. So he is showing how from the desert I am going into water. That is the visualization he is showing here. Bhavamaru parikhinna klesham adyatyajami. Today I will abandon the distress, klesham, or the pain that I'm having of being in this bhava maru, in this desert of samsara, which has worn me out. Parikhinnaha. It has worn me out completely. It has dried me up. And where I'm going to go? Saroje, Kara Charana Saroje. I'm going to go into this um, lake Sarasi, Hari Sarasi Vigahya Piya, Vigahya Apiya Tejo Jalogham. This Jala or this Sarasi, this lake of Krishna or Mukunda, I'm going to go into that lake. From where? From the desert. That is why here he is making a reference to Samsara Sagara as a Samsara Maru or a desert. He's showing how desert, in a desert, you'll hardly find any vegetation. It's all dried up, right? And in a desert, if you go some distance in a dry, deserted area, or not in a desert, you will see slowly you're dehydrated, exhausted, drained. And then he says, Mukunda is that oasis. That oasis of Mukunda is that particular resting place that you find when you go through the desert of samsara. Right? So, yes, Amma, I see your hand being raised. What is it, Ma?
Sorry, dear. I want to tell you one more comparison எனக்கு தோணித்து. அதுல முதல்ல எழுதி வச்சிருந்தேன். சம்சாரத்துக்கும் சாகரத்துக்கும் இந்த டெசர்ட்டுக்கும் ஒரு ஒத்துமை என்னன்னா, ஒரு இடத்துல நிறுத்தினாக்க ஒரு எல்லை கண் தெரியாது. யூ வில் நாட் ஃபைண்ட் எனி, ஒரு நமக்கு ஒரு கரை கண் தெரியாது. சமுதிரத்துல கரை கண் தெரியாத மாதிரி அந்த டெசர்ட்லயும் யூ வில் நாட் ஃபைண்ட் எனி, நமக்கு ஒரு ஓசோன் லேயர் தெரியுமே தவிர கரை கண் தெரியாது. அது ஒரு கம்பேரிசன் எழுதியிருக்குதுல.
Correct. Very nice. Very nice. So, correct. So, both, which is why both Samsara Sagara or Bhavamaru, both are similar in that sense to see that it's, as far as you can see, you won't see the end to it. Right? So, which is why either Sagara or desert is probably used. But this is one place where I see a beautiful reference to desert that is used. Because in every other place, even Adi Shankara's works, everywhere, Bhava Sagara, Samsara Sagara, this is the way it is referred to. Which is, it's a huge water body with no end in sight. So, Bhagavan, you have to become the Taraka. You have to take me across. But here, the water body is used as the relief. Because I am in a desert, the water body is a relief. So from the desert, you are this oasis. I find this lake, Sarasi, Hari Sarasi, the lake of Hari. And I dive into it. So just the visualization, you're walking in the desert, so dried up, it's all hot. And then suddenly you find this beautiful oasis and you dive into it. And what do you find there? Kara Charana Saroje. I find your feet and hands as these lotuses. Kantimat Netra Mine. Your eyes are shining like those of the fish. Because the fish eyes, if you see, they're really large eyes. And it'll appear like it's glittering and glistening, right? Kanti Mannetra Mine. Shramamushi Bhujavichivyakule Gadhamarge. So all my shrama is dropped, all my shrama goes away. And Bhujavichivya, and your arms, movement of your arms create these waves. Vyakule Agadhamarge. The movement of your arms are creating waves in this lake. Which lake? Hari Sarasi, the lake of Hari. Vigahya apiya tejo jalogham. And may we drink of the waters of this lake and flood ourselves with this water. Jalaugham. Jalaugham means inundate ourselves with the water from this lake. Why? Which means this lake is not a small lake, it's a very deep lake. The lake of Mukunda, the lake of Krishna, is a very deep lake. So let us, or he's saying, drink of this lake, inexhaustible lake that is there, which is Harinama, and inundate yourself with it. For what? So that you come out of this Bhava Maru. The wearing out, Parikhinna, is you've worn out from this, the distress of this being in this existence, in this dry existence. Adya Tyajami, I am going to let go of all of that pains and worries and stresses and dejections and humiliations and problems. All of that I am going to let go of today. This is more like a resolution. It is literally a resolution. Adya Tyajami, I am going to give up the Bhava Maru Klesha Parikhinna Klesha. Adya Tyajami. So, this can be used as an everyday resolution to ourselves. Actually, this verse alone, whenever the mind feels dry, the mind feels dejected, depressed, I don't know where I'm going, what is happening with my life. I'm seeking attention from the world constantly, and nobody is giving me attention. See, that is also causing dryness. When you're constantly wanting something from the world, whether you want material possessions, you want things, or you want attention from the world, that is also a problem. How much attention can the world give you? It will never be enough. How much ever you do. This is a problem with artists. This is a trap for the artists. My guru, I remember telling this. Bharata Muni, sorry, my cough has become better, by the way. So it's just a little bit of that residue. So my guru would say, Bharata Muni, when he gave the art to the world, Natya Shastra and all of that, he saw the artists who came learning arts from through those methods started gathering ego and constantly seeking attention. And that is why he cursed artists. Guru would say, he cursed artists that if you're only engrossed in your art, you will not be able to go any further in spiritual growth. சொல்லுவார் தலையில தட்டி விட்டார் அப்படிம்பாரு. Would say தலையில தட்டி விட்டார், which means you will see artists, how much ever they go, they will reach a stagnation, a certain point, and then they fall off or they stagnate. If you use art as a vehicle in spiritual pursuit, that is different. It just becomes your own journey, your very, very personal, innermost personal journey. You use it as a vehicle. Like I remember there's a very popular phrase, and somebody asked, did Tyagaraja see Rama by singing songs? So the response one guru gave, that I don't know whether Tyagaraja got Rama Jnanam or Rama Darshanam through his songs, but one thing I know, that what Rama Darshanam he got, he delivered it through his songs. The experience of Rama, he delivered it through his songs. So you don't know which one came first. Did he sing his way to Rama, or because he had the experience of Rama, the songs came out? Who's to say? So even singing, dancing, performing, doing all kinds of art, if it is purely as a vehicle to Bhagavad Darshanam, to Bhagavan for spiritual pursuit, then we will not feel dry. We feel dry because artists somewhere always seek attention from the outside. They always want somebody to come and appreciate, someone to acknowledge, someone to say, wah, wah, wah. And in our hearts, we know when that doesn't happen, there is a certain level of dryness that comes. And it's a constant seeking. It will always be there. That dryness will continuously be there. So the dryness is not just by living a material life. Even people who think they are in the creative plane, they are above the material and in the creative plane, they also have this dryness. Same thing with people who are purely living a ritualistic life. They will also have this dryness. Because if your focus is not in purely going in devotion, you want to go in a group and you want to sing, you want to be in this thing and you want to do nama sankirtanam. If the joy is found only there, then very soon we will find dryness, because the world on the outside keeps changing. Bhava Maru, it is like in the breeze when there is wind. If you have seen Sri Vidya and some of you in this region, you would have seen when the wind blows, how does the sand particles move? It just moves as though it has no existence of its own. Those particles just move with the wind. There is no existence of its own. That is how it will be. If we keep seeking, looking for these things in the world, it will continuously evade us. The more we seek, the more it will evade us, the more dryness we will encounter and experience. So it's a very beautiful comparison Kulasekara Alvar has shown. Dryness is something we all come to at some point. In fact, for spiritual sadhakas, there is also called as a spiritual dry spell. There are times I have had it, and my guru told this is a spiritual dry spell where you've done, you do sadhana, you do sadhana, you do sadhana, and then there is a point is like, what is happening? I'm just doing sadhana, I'm not getting anywhere. So this dry spell can happen to us at any point in time. So Bhava Sagara or Bhava, not Sagara here, Bhava Maru, please look at this in our own lives, how we become dry. We look for something, we become dry because we are looking for it somewhere, elsewhere. So he's saying, look for the Hari Sarasi, look for the lake of Krishna, the lake of Mukunda. It is right here. Correct. Kalpaka is saying writers have writer's spell too. All artists definitely have these spells. Yes. Artists, particularly, I've seen a lot because they are constantly seeking. If there is no audience, even 5 people, they feel dry because they have not developed the art or joy of using this as a vehicle for spiritual pursuit or spiritual sadhana. It's not been used for that. So it will continuously be that a painting we do, or a drawing we do, or a song we sing, or a dance we do, whatever form of art, it will continuously give us dryness. It is for our own sake we need to evaluate this. So he is saying, Hari Sarasi Vigahya. Vigahya means dive. Gahanam means depth. Vigahya, having dived into the depth of Hari Sarasi. Just fall into it. And then inundate yourself. Augam, Jalaugam. Then you will recognize that Bhava Maru Parikhinna Klesham Adyatyajami. Then you will be able to say, now I drop all the dryness. Now I'm inundated with this torrent of Krishna's, the water of Krishna. Because in this lake, Hari Sarasi, he is the one in the lake. I see his hands and legs as lotuses. I see his eyes and the eyes of the fish. I see the waves as the movement of his body. Right? Kara Charana Saroje. Kara and Charana are the lotuses. Kanti Mannetra Mine, the eyes, the netra are beautiful glistening eyes of the fishes. Then Bhuja Vichivya Kulagadha Marge. So Agadha Marge. So the Bhuja are the ones that are causing the movement of the Bhuja, causing the waves in the lake. In that lake, I am going to rest myself. There's no more dryness. Devotion is always wet. Devotion is always compared to Jalatattva because it flows. Bhakti flows. So it is always compared to Jalatattva. In fact, in Bhakti, that is why tears also flow.
Bhaktiile murigitta solluvaru.
Murigitta, correct.
Bhaktiile murigitta.
Correct. Drowning in Bhakti. So beautiful. It's so beautiful. Really. So it is better to drown in Bhakti than be dried up in samsara. Because one, the drying up will leave you charred. Charred means with wounds. This drowning will liberate you. Next verse he says, Sarasija nayane sashankha chakre murabhidi maviramasva chittarantum sukha param na jatu jane hari charana smarana amritena tulyam. Hari charana smarana amritena tulyam. By thinking of the feet of Bhagavan, of Hari, of Krishna, of Mukunda, it is equivalent to nectar. Just by thinking of the feet is equivalent to nectar. Equivalent to consuming nectar. The joy is equivalent to consuming nectar. See, we have to also, this is a way of validating. So somebody is asking, I don't remember, someone is asking, how do we measure spiritual progress? In Yatra also, I remember someone asking, maybe Kavita, you also asking. In Bhakti, one of the things that you have to recognize is, one of the way to recognize is you become gentle. You become tender and gentle, not weak. Understand this. If you start becoming weak and for every little emotion you start crying, that is not devotion, please. That is just purely emotional weakness. In devotion, you become strong in devotion, but gentle in your vyavahara. That vyavaharika komalatvam, when it comes, when you're able to listen more than speak. When you're able to give more than you take. These are all measures of bhakti. Spiritual progress to bhakti. That gentleness, that tenderness should develop in our actions, in our attitude, in the way we are, not for somebody to judge us and say, oh, this person has become tender. No. Within us, we should feel that gentleness, gentle breeze. See, in a very beautiful, right now, today morning, I don't know how it is for you, Sri Vidya, but here it's really beautiful. The weather is so nice. And there's a very gentle breeze that's going on continuously. And we have chimes somewhere, and then can listen to the chimes. There's a gentle breeze, and the weather is also cool. This we should feel inside in devotion. And when we cry, when crying comes or weeping comes to the Lord, we weep and silently we weep. Because it's weeping is a communication. Understand this. Weeping is actually not necessarily a bad thing. Weeping is a way we are communicating. Weeping is the language of the heart. Words are the language of the tongue or the mouth or the mind. Words are the language of the mind. Tears are the language of the heart. So when tears flow, understand that your heart is now filled up. So let it flow. That's you're communicating. You're in some kind of communication. Words cannot, words, see, remember this, when you're actually in very deep, some kind of an emotion and there is tearing, you'll never be able to put it into words. Mutually exclusive. At the best, you will, somebody comes and asks, you will say that, "Unaku puriyadu," you will not understand. It's not that they'll not understand. It's not you're not able to explain. Maybe they'll understand, but the problem is not about them. It is about you. You can't explain it beyond this. You can't explain, because that itself in itself is a language. So these are measures of trying to understand how spiritual progress can be measured by oneself in devotion. And when we are in this gentleness, then there is no dryness, there is no seeking attention, there is no, I want this from the world, I want that from the world, nothing. There is this gentleness that will be there, this breeze that will be there inside. Why doesn't this breeze blow gently within, or we don't feel that? Because we have not dived inside. This, he says, here. So the what is that word he uses? Vigahya. Having dived in. Only when we dive in really can we feel this breeze all the time within, just sitting like this. Sarasija Nayane Sashanka Chakre. So the eyes are like lotus. Bhagavan's eyes are like lotus. Sashanka Chakre. He's having Sashanka. He's having Shankha and Chakra. He's got a discus and the Sudarshana Chakra. Murabhidi. Murabhidi means he is the one who's killed the Asura Mura. That is why he is called Murari. Murari is also Murari. Murari. Or Muraripu. Muraripu is also the enemy of Mura. Here he is called Murabhidi. Suguna Mami, I'll just complete the meaning of this line and then you can ask Ma. And then he says, Murabhidi Ma Viramaswa. Ma Viramaswa. Do not ever stop thinking about him. Chittarantum. Never cease thinking about him. Of who? Of Murabhidi, of Murari, of Krishna, of Mukunda. Sukhataram aparam na jatu jane. I do not know anything else beyond this. Sukhataram. I don't know any joy beyond this. In Sanskritam, tara and tama, these are two terms that are used. Tama is used to compare between two things. Tara is used as a superlative of whatever it is. So if you're saying Sukha Tara, there is nothing above this. You say Sukha Tama, it means it's in comparison, it's something else. This is better Sukha than this when you do a comparison. But Tara is, it is surpassing. There is nothing beyond this Sukha. This Sukha, I do not know. Na janu, na jane, na jatu jane. I do not know anything, any other Sukha Taram Aparam, na jatu jane. I do not know of any joy that is there beyond this. So he's humbly submitting, I may not know. If you guys know, you tell me. I don't think there is any other joy beyond this. Because the joy I'm experiencing is so complete, so full, that I don't feel like I have to go somewhere else seeking something else. Yes, Mami? Suguna Mami?
Namaskaram ji.
Namaskaram.
Spiritual dryness, okay, and bhakti la mooldradhu. But spiritual la pona tha nama detachment varum. Nama kadaivala automatica panninde plus ஸ்பிரிச்சுவல் எல்லாம் அது சமர்ப்பணம், ஐ மீன் அர்ப்பணம் சொல்லிட்டு போனாதான் வரும். இந்த ஸ்பிரிச்சுவல் ட்ரைனர்ஸும் அந்த இதுவும் எனக்கு கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சம் கூட எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ண முடியுமா? ஐ எம் டெல்லிங் அவுட் ஆஃப் மை பர்சனல் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ், தட்ஸ் ஆல். அண்ட் பக்தியில மூழ்றது, பக்தியும் ஸ்பிரிச்சுவலும் வேற வேறையா? அப்போ there is a ஒரு தின் லைன் இருக்கா? எனக்கு கொஞ்சம்
இல்லம்மா,
சொல்ல முடியும்?
நீங்க வந்து you used two words in English, one in Sanskritam and one in English. So spiritual essentially is an umbrella of things. Bhakti is a marga. Spirituality or spiritual, being spiritual means you are going inwards. You're going inwards. You're withdrawing yourself from this, whatever you perceive as this material life or this of the five senses that you perceive. Adilende, you're withdrawing yourself and you're knowing that there is something higher than this. This is the pursuit of spirituality. Okay. Marga.
But why do you call it as dryness? Dryness means already.
So marga are different marga. You can have yoga, you can have bhakti, you can do kriya. There are different marga too in the whole pursuit of spirituality. Aghora marga is a marga. Aghoris, naga sadhus that you see during Kumbh Mela, that is a marga. There are different margas that are there. Bhakti is a marga for spirituality. What I meant by spiritual dryness is when you're doing any of these, through any of these margas, when you're trying to get to this sense of spiritual understanding, one hits a point where I am doing this repeatedly for so long, nothing seems to happen. Where am I heading? What is happening? And you come to a certain dryness there. That is what I meant by spiritual dryness. You may be doing a kriya for 20 years. At some point, you're maybe sitting and thinking, okay, I've done kriya for 20 years. What now? What is happening? This may happen. Bhajans, you're doing bhakti. You're doing Nama Sankirtanam, you're doing bhakti, you're doing bhajans, you're doing puja, all of this out of bhakti, you're doing. 20 years later, you're thinking, enna enakku panni enna labam? Kadavul enna enakku pannitar? I've always been going through struggles after struggles after struggles. This is spiritual dryness. Right? Ade madri, if I'm doing things for people, I'm doing social service, I'm doing this, that, and the other, and I come to a certain, and I'm thinking in my mind that I'm doing all of this as a spiritual offering. I'm doing all of this. I come to a point in 20 years, I come to a point, I've done so much for so many people. Nobody is there now for me. I'm all alone. What is the point? This is spiritual dryness. Anything that you do in spiritual pursuit and you come to a point where you're looking at everything and you're saying, oh my God, what's the point in all of it? That is spiritual dryness. And this happens for many of us. Most of us, it'll happen. What he's saying, chalunga.
எப்படித்தான் வாழணுங்கிற இழப்பு. நான் really, I am perplexed. I am totally confused and இந்த பாத்து சரியா இல்லையா அதெல்லாம் யோசனை வருது. I mean சரியா இல்லைன்னா நீங்க சொல்ற மாதிரி ஒரு எம்ப்டினஸ் எப்போது இருக்கு, அது எப்படி வெளியில வரணும்?
So what he is saying is keep diving into it. Don't doubt the process. Don't doubt the process.
Okay.
Spiritual dryness will come. But the dryness will increase if you keep expecting something from the outside.
Okay.
If I need attention from the outside, if I need acknowledgement from the outside, if I need some form of whatever, validation, recognition from the outside, the dryness will only increase. If you dive deep, he is saying, Hari Sarasi Vigahya, he is saying, having dived deep into it, you stay there, Murigire. Don't doubt the process. Murigirkena moochu poidumalla yosikada. Don't think that Murigirken, oh, will I drown, will I die? No, be in it. It's okay. The world will figure out its own way. The world is not existing because of you. Can you Be whatever you do in the world, you have to do things you have to do, but can we constantly be in this thought, be in this, can I have to do some things quickly, can I come back to my scriptures, my reading, my bhajans, my upanyasam, my dhyanam, my shlokam, can I come back to that? And then something I have to do, kitchen I have to do something, can I come back to this? I have to do something for my household, for my people, then can I come back to this? The diving deep should be in this continuously. Yesterday,
Okay.
I was watching a short snippet of Rajnikant. He is standing outside Ranchi, Paramahamsa Yogananda's the satsanga, the sangha that he set up in Ranchi, Bihar. For the first time, he set it up there many years ago. Rajnikant has gone there and he's standing and giving a testimony. He's saying, for 21 years, I've been practicing Kriya. Today, people are asking me, what is the secret of your exuberance, your energy, or this, that, and the other? He says, for 21 years, without fail, continuously, I've been practicing Kriya. Today, I'm revealing it. He says, this is my strength. He has gone through many difficult times. Considering us, hasn't Rajni gone through more difficult times? Of course, he's got a lot of money, but that also brings a lot more trouble. Correct? Is our name getting published in the magazines and newspapers for all the wrong reasons? No, his name is getting published. Are we getting brickbats and people throwing stones at our windows or giving us threat letters of death and all that? No, he's getting all that. Can we go peacefully to the Himalayas and come back? Yes. Can he go? He can't. He has to hide and go. There's no freedom for him to do most of the things that we can do freely. But yet he's standing today and saying, all that I'm getting this peace and joy. He says, I kept doing this through all the phases of my life. I kept doing it. And today I can say, Guru's grace and peace and joy and calm is there with me. It's a big testimony. It's a big testimony to his perseverance. Anything that you pick up, suddenly I'm not saying that, oh, everybody should do Kriya Yoga. No. Whatever you pick up, with intention, with intensity you're doing, persevere, continue to do. Bhagavan will open up doors. He'll give you avenues. This will happen. These are miracles. And this is not, what I'm speaking is not textual. It's completely out of experience. It will open up as we intensify our sadhana, while you're working, while you're taking care of family, while you're doing this, while you're doing that, all of that, you bring your focus on this. Bhagavane, you are the center of my attention. Instead of me seeking attention, I want to make you as the center of my attention. The more and more I do that, like yesterday we saw, Yogi Janasya Lakshye. Adi Shankara says, Yogi Janasya Lakshye. Yogi Jana make Devi as her Lakshya. Like that, when we make, that is all matters to me. I'm not going to go complaining around to the world. The world is not giving me that. World is not giving this. Stop. In the heart, in your heart, stop. And then you will see how miraculously these things happen. It's not about telling somebody, oh, I have stopped. I am in your heart. Believe that. And then Adya Tyajami, he's saying, right? Kulasekara Alvar is saying, Adya Tyajami, I am resolving to drop all of this today. I resolve to drop all of this today. Okay, mommy?
புரிஞ்ச மாதிரி இருக்கு, புரியாத மாதிரி இருக்கு.
That's all right, mommy. But I think
at least I'm happy. ஒரு டவுட் கேட்டு அது வரைக்கும் ஒரு டவுட் கேட்டதுனால நீங்க சொன்னதுனால ஒர்க் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கு மைண்ட்ல.
Yes, that is how it is. These are not, because the condition we have come to today is not a one-day affair. We have come into this condition through many lifetimes and many years, even in this lifetime.
Very true.
Conditioned ourselves like this. To uncondition ourselves, it will take time. But persevere. Like Vivekananda says, this whole life is about dehypnotizing yourself. You've been hypnotized to think that you are this, you're having this problem, you are this, living this world, you are this relation, this issue, this thing, that you will be hypnotized. The whole spiritual effort is de-hypnotizing yourself to say that, no, I am Bhagavan's child. I am Amritasya Putraha, like the Upanishads claim.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much.
Okay. Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriyerva Buddhyatmana va Prakate Svabhavat Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanayati Samarpayami Sadashivayati Samarpayami Jagadambiketi Samarpayami Satgurunathayati Samarpayami Hari Om Tat Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.